It's a strange feeling, isn't it? Watching a giant fall. It's like watching that one relative, the one, auntie, who used to be the sharpest, most trusted person at the table, completely lose the plot. The one who used to tell incredible stories and unite the family, who suddenly starts shouting strange, out-of-touch nonsense and wonders why everyone is slowly backing away from the dinner table. It's not just sad, it's infuriating. Because when we look at the smoldering ruins of what was once the British Broadcasting Corporation, culminating in the, frankly, entirely justified, resignations of Tim Davie and Deborah Turnus, we're told to look everywhere else for the culprit. We're being told to blame the Americans. We're being told to blame the government. We're being told to blame the right-wing press. The insiders, scrambling to save their six-figure salaries, are pointing their fingers at everyone except the people who actually broke the toy. They are desperate for us to believe this was a murder. But we all watched it happen. We all saw the evidence. This wasn't a murder. This was a slow, arrogant, and incredibly public suicide. But it was Trump. It was the Tories. Let's just get the excuses out of the way, shall we? Because listening to the Beeves' defenders this week has been like listening to a toddler explain why the wall is covered in crayon. Excuse number 1, Donald Trump. Oh, this one is a classic. We're hearing insiders whisper that Tim and Debs had to take a bullet for Auntie because Donald Trump threatened legal action. The nerve of him, right? Hold on, let's rewind. Are they talking about the Panorama episode that essentially fabricated what he said? The one where they got caught red-handed and he, being Trump, went incandescent? Think about this in your own life. If a powerful organization effectively lied about you on the national stage, wouldn't you be furious? Wouldn't you sue? The fact that the BBC's first reaction wasn't, "My God, we need to fix our journalism, but how dare he threaten us for our mistake," tells you everything. They weren't martyrs protecting the institution. They were executives who got caught. Excuse number 2, the wicked Tories. This one is even funnier. The audacity of the government to govern. The source of all this internal panic, the appointment of Robbie Gibb, a former communications director for Theresa May, to the board. Let's just soak that in. A national broadcaster, funded by everyone, conservative, Labour, Lib Dem, and everyone in between, believed that having one single person with a Tory background in the building was a grave threat to their very existence. What does that tell you? It tells you the BBC stopped being a national broadcaster and started being a private club. A club with a very strict door policy. If your views don't align perfectly with their own very specific, very niche, very London-centric worldview, you're not just wrong, you're a threat. It's not impartiality. It's an immune system, and it's attacking anything it doesn't recognize. The real sickness, a crisis of culture. Here's the part they will never, ever admit. The problem wasn't external. The problem was, and is, the modus operandi, the whole rotten culture. The BBC used to be a mirror, reflecting the nation back at itself. The good, the bad, the funny, the tragic. But somewhere along the way, the mirror decided it didn't like the reflection. It decided its job was to correct the reflection, to educate us, to lecture us. They stopped serving the public and started judging them. We saw it with trans issues. It's not about the debate itself, it's about how they framed it. When millions of people, particularly women, had perfectly reasonable, common-sense questions about biology and single-sex spaces, how were they treated by the national broadcaster? They were treated as bigots, as hateful. They were dismissed. The BBC didn't just report on the issue, it picked a side, and anyone on the other was an enemy. And then, the most terrible, heartbreaking example of all, the BBC's stance on Israel and the Jewish community. The sheer chilling bias, the agonizing contextualizing of pure terror, the instinctive refusal to call a spade a spade. For the British Jewish community, this wasn't an abstract political debate. It was watching their national broadcaster, the one they pay for, seemingly incapable of distinguishing victim from perpetrator. This goes beyond bias. It's a complete moral failure. It's a betrayal. And still, we hear them call themselves the most respected news organization in the country. You have to laugh or you'll cry. Ask the Jewish community if they respect it. Ask the parent worried about their child's school. Ask the fisherman, the plumber, the factory worker. Ask most of us. That respect they talk about isn't a current reality. It's a ghost. It's a memory of a time when the BBC was that giant. Now, they're just an echo, repeating a slogan they stopped earning decades ago. The Farage paradox, the monster they helped create. Here's the final beautiful irony. In their final desperate gasps, the BBC types are insisting that they, and only they, are the last defense against the likes of Nigel Farage. They just don't get it. They really don't get it. They are the reason Nigel Farage is so popular. They are his greatest recruitment sergeant. Think about it. For years, millions of people felt completely ignored. They had real concerns about their communities, their jobs, and their country's future. And every time they tried to voice them, the BBC and its associated class of commentators sneered at them. They called them low information. They called them gammons. They called them racist. So, when a man in a pub, or, a multimillionaire who pretends to be in a pub, comes along and says, "See? They hate you. They think you're stupid. I'm listening to you." What did they think was going to happen? People will seek out anyone who makes them feel heard. The BBC didn't just create a vacuum by ignoring these people. They pushed them into that vacuum. They pushed them towards Farage. And now, they have the gall to stand there and call us the problem and position themselves as the solution. It was never the BBC's job to be a resistance movement against any politician. It was their job to report, to be fair, to be the calm, trusted voice for everyone. They failed. This isn't a tragedy written by right-wing forces. This wasn't a plot by Trump or the Tories. The BBC trashed its own reputation. They did it all on their own. And now, as Auntie finally collapses, all we can feel is a profound sense of sadness and a little bit of relief that it's finally over. We deserved better.